Hey folks, it's Jim. Just going to do a quick video. I've been able to gather some data I used China, Italy, Korea, South Korea, Indonesia, everywhere I could find stuff, okay? But let me also put this out as a disclaimer. None of this has been confirmed by the CDC, the WHO, or any conclusive article. This is just data and analysis I've been able to do by cross-referencing several articles, okay? So let me get into it. Out of China, they released a study, and again, don't panic, relax. Panic leads to mistakes, and it compromises your immune system. So please don't panic. Don't live in fear. You need to live your life, okay? Just do the best that you can. Follow your infectious disease protocols. Be safe, be sane, be aware, right? As a prepper, you should be living that way anyway, right? Okay. What they found is that it's possible for this disease to be spread as far as 4.5 meters away, which is about 14 feet. Let's call it 15 feet. That tells me this is probably aerosol, or the smaller droplets can be carried on an air current quite a distance, depending on the size. As you know, coughing, sneezing creates misting, and that could be carried on an air current, which could explain this distance of spread. However, that breaks through the social distancing barrier of 6 feet, so I'm throwing that out the window and I'm going to 15 feet. In fact, if anyone coughs or sneezes, I'm leaving. I'm just out. I don't want anything to do with it, right? Because these mild cases can be severe in many of us, and I'm now in the high risk category because of my age. But many of you, we're going to get into that now. Let's get into risks, okay? Who are the higher risk people? Well, the flu, and we'll get into that in a minute as to why, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, lung disease of all kinds, asthma, COPD, cystic fibrosis, on and on, right? The elderly and cancer patients. I think every one of us knows people in that category, don't we? So this is a pretty broad spectrum of our population, isn't it? So, this is something to be considerate about when we're using our infectious disease protocol during this time, which I hope you are. It's for them too. You may be young, healthy, and not get really affected by this disease, but there's a huge portion of our population, after I've read these studies, that can be severely affected by this. A lot of people, millions upon millions of people, could be seriously affected by this, and you know that. Diabetes is pretty much reached almost epidemic levels in this country, right? Okay, so be aware of that. Now the flu, what they found was if you were carrying a viral load, you know how you're down, you got malaise, you try and sleep, you drink a little bit, ginger ale, whatever, and then you get up, you start feeling better, and all of a sudden, boom, you're on the go again. Well, these people were doing that, then they were going out, getting exposed to COVID, and then all of a sudden, bam, it caused a pyroclastic storm within their immune system, which went to the heart, caused myocarditis, and they fell over dead. This can explain a lot of the rumors where people had observed someone just sitting and then they fell over dead. Okay? That could explain a lot of that. And apparently this is being validated. Okay? Not just in China, but we're finding similar responses, I guess, out there. Again, nothing's been confirmed, so this is just data I've been able to compile through cross-referencing and trying to see a clearer picture of how this virus works. Okay, so keep that in mind. 3 days at 98 degrees on all surfaces is what China came up with. So that includes steel, fabrics, wood, plastics, okay? However, that was not definitive enough for me, and I'm really irritated the CDC and the WHO hasn't put anything out on this yet. They didn't consider, because in the article that I read, I didn't get, it was out of China, but I didn't get humidity. I didn't get anything other than 98 degrees. What about 50 degrees? What about, you know what I mean? So that was not a great study. However, at least it was scientific, okay? I'm going to, however, stay at 9 days on inanimate objects. All things coming into my home are quarantined for at least 9 days. I am not even opening the box. I'm letting it sit for 9 days because I don't want to disinfect everything. I was doing that, and then I just decided, this isn't worth it. I'm going to wait 9 extra days and just, so that's what I'm doing. I have a little quarantine space in my garage. Everything's staying quarantined. Okay, excuse me. The Italian doctor did a news release on an interview on the 10th, March 10th. Go look that up. Listen to what this doctor has to say if you're not taking this virus or this illness seriously, please. And it's not about us who may not be affected greatly by it. It's about those who will be or could be, okay? That's my personal opinion, all right? We need to be responsible to not infect those who could be very vulnerable to this. My personal opinion is the U.S. is not testing enough, and this could lead to the biggest debacle in American history if this breaks out. Okay, if we have multiple breakouts in the U.S., it's going to be considered the biggest debacle in U.S. history. And I think people are going to get very upset. So we already have the National Guard going into New York. We have Washington. Yeah, wow. We got outbreaks in California where they're being quarantined, right? We got all this going on, and we get case, cluster, cluster, boom. Okay, and that's how it went in Italy. Case, cluster, cluster, boom. Same thing in South Korea. Same thing in China. Okay, case, cluster, cluster, boom. We've already had case. We've had cluster, cluster, cluster. How long before boom? Right? So be aware of that. Practice your infectious disease protocols, even if it's not in your area right now. That's what I suggest, because they are absolutely not testing enough. My state has only done 20 tests so far. That's it. Utterly ridiculous. But here's the thing. South Korea, who's finally getting this under control, is testing 10,000 a day. All right? We haven't even tested 10,000 total yet. So there's no possible way we could know how many people have it in our country. And maybe the brain trust up there knows something we don't know, okay? And it hasn't been released yet. I don't know. Maybe they're hoping that the longer daylight hours with the ultraviolet light will mitigate the spread of the illness like it does the flu. You know what I mean? Who knows? But that's a pretty big gamble with people's lives, especially the vulnerable population in this country. Okay? So I'm really dissatisfied with our response as a nation. I am. I'm 100% dissatisfied. It is reactive and chasing rather than proactive and containing, right? If you got 1 million tests, use them. Why not? That's what they're for. If you got 2 million, use them. Let's get it done. Then after that, if we do have this contained and we were spared a major outbreak, we can start helping others that were not spared and are having a horrible time with this illness, right? And that would be the right thing to do in this time. This is a global event. This is not just a U.S. event, right? Okay, so anyway, I'm practicing the elbow bump if I'm doing anything, just to be an example. Practice social distancing. Now I won't go into a building. If someone's coughing or sick, I won't go. I'm only leaving the house once, maybe twice a week. I've got enough to do anyway, so you know, that's for me. And when I do, I'm wearing a mask. You can bet that. Now I'm wearing gloves because I don't want to be washing my hands 50 times a day. Okay, and then wash hands, you know, and I'm wearing gloves, as you know. Check out Chris Martinson's video of March 10th, and hopefully he'll have more today. He's done a really good job, in my opinion. So have many others. But, you know, again, don't panic. Relax. Fear, worry, it's not going to do you any good. It's going to compromise your immune system. That's not what you want right now. Just be proactive and use your infectious disease protocols. That's all. And let's hopefully get through this. And hopefully we're going to be spared because now we're into longer daylight hours. Who knows, okay? But I don't see that here because it was breaking out in Australia and Singapore. So, and both of them were kind of warmer. So anyway, is there anything I've forgotten? Covered all this, high risk. Nope, I think we've covered everything I wanted to get out in this. Again, don't panic, relax, okay? This can be an opportunity to make money too. Look at what the stock markets are doing. That's what I've been doing. You know, 4 weeks ago, I pulled a lot off the table and said, hey, no, I have a bad feeling about this, and I'm glad I did. Because my broker thought I was crazy then. You don't think so now. He's pretty much like, wow, How'd you know? Well, I can read. That's how. And I hope you do too. I hope you're aware of this. You know what I mean? And so I'll try and do a video on that. Some of the trades I think are going to be spectacular going forward. Of course, I won't give financial advice. I'll just give some information. Yeah. Be wise. Remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Don't be a part of the problem. Be a part of the solution. Jim out.